Israel needs millions of gas masks. And so our staff and the congregations that we lead in Israel and the people that we're ministering to, a lot of them right now are elderly Russian Jewish people. So if there is any kind of an attack, you know, the chances of them running to a bomb shelter or running to get their gas mask, I mean, these people, a lot of these are elderly people. They can't run anywhere. In fact, you know, there are still almost 250,000 Holocaust survivors in Israel.
Wow.
Can you imagine how old they are?
Yeah.
And so I think that Israel's really in fear. So we need to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. I think a really big concern, and do you remember when Israeli jets bombed certain sites in Lebanon? Yeah. And the theory was out that the reason they were doing that is because sarin gas weapons were passing through Syrian hands, okay, and ending up with Hezbollah. And nobody could prove that. But Israel took action, and Israel believed it was happening and tried to destroy it. Here's the problem. The quote-unquote rebels in Syria, nevertheless Iran, it's a separate subject, but the rebels in Syria are across a whole gamut of political beliefs.
That's true.
Many are very fundamentalist Muslims influenced by al-Qaeda.
Yeah.
Some are in the middle. And so just because they're quote-unquote rebels to a regime that seems to have used chemical weapons, and that's horrible, we don't know what will happen if they get control. We don't know where those weapons are going. I just pray that those weapons will not end up on Israel's doorstep. I mean, everything pales compared to what's happening now because of the raised threat of the level of attack.
Yeah.
What happened in Egypt, of course, has been very important to Israel.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why that was important was because when the Muslim Brotherhood had more control of Egypt, the borders to Gaza were more open, which meant more weapons could be smuggled through Gaza and then could come to Hamas. And that's a really big problem.
Yeah.
And you saw shipments of missiles that were stopped by Israelis. You see, protecting that border in Gaza is really important.
Yeah.
And so that was a problem with Egypt. Jordan is overwhelmed by refugees, and I think Jordan's just trying to keep their head.
Yeah.
You know, I think probably the most significant event, and you know, we call it the Arab Spring, and actually when it was happening, I'm sure many others predicted it, but it was clear to me that the Arab Spring was not going to be good for Israel. Because the Arab Spring, as much as it seemed that it was democratizing the many Arab countries, actually the Arab Spring was bringing in quite a fundamentalist Muslim group of people. And actually, it wasn't that good for Israel. And I'm not sure how easy it is to make people with that kind of a tribal background in the Middle East and so on, to have them accept a Judeo-Christian Western democracy. I just don't know if that's going to really work.